to executive leadership. I see that happen a lot. And I always found it funny. It was like, you really worried about the top. You need to be worried about everything in the middle
Yeah.
because those are the boots on the ground. Excuse me for my army analogy, but it is what
No.
is it? But that's what I'm thinking. Like you over there passing out money like it's Tic Tacs to the executives, like they don't got it already. And you have these individuals who are day in, day out grinding. And those are not the ones that you think you may want to trickle down those retention bonuses. Shame on you, organizations
I'm gonna
for
tell you,
doing it. It's
I
it's
call it
it,
like
it's crazy.
the forgotten middle. I'm a middle child to you
No,
guys.
I'm a middle child.
The
I mean, I'm
forgotten.
number two of eight. I'm forgotten.
So you gotta be like, hey, I'm seeing, I'm here, I'm keeping this ship running.
Running,
Don't know if you
absolutely.
know. I will tell you another time that I would not go in if it's review time and you're already getting your review. That's not the best time to ask for a raise. You want to do that probably, I would say, about 2 to 4 weeks before reviews. Put that bug in your boss ear, like, hey, I've been looking, and with everything that's going on, inflation, all this, I would like this, and this. I would like to work remotely more. I would like to increase my PTO. I would like, and I deserve a 5, 10, $15,000 increase. And here's the thing, people are getting it. Companies know right now you want that manager. It's going to cost them so much more to replace you. Where a few years ago it was like everybody's replaceable, everybody's expendable.
Oh,
Now, no,
yes.
that position be empty for months.
Yeah. I mean, because people are really, the world has changed so much, right? And I'm a person, I lived in North Carolina, I've lived in Georgia, I've lived in Texas. So I know I've seen what different states do. But what I do find odd is that now that it's the great resignation, you would think more organizations would say, you know what? Let's make some more positions remote. And then also let's start paying people what they're worth. But instead, you still hear of people struggling. It's almost like you're begging them to do right by you and to pay you what you're worth. And that's why it's so important to have someone like LaTrice on your team. You can grab her ear because she can really help you to understand, like, look, at the end of the day, this is not personal. This is business. Like they could be a great organization, have a great mission statement, but at the end of the day, you have to take care of your family. You have to take care of yourself. You are your responsibility. The organization, whether you go or not, they will find a replacement. They will find someone else, another candidate. So it's really about negotiating and getting what you feel like you deserve and not being so humble that you feel like you don't deserve it.
Oh, and we were just talking about the humble piece. So I work primarily with women of color. Most of them tend to be first generation, either first generation immigrants, first generation to go to college, for usually both, like some sort of your first generation, which is a lot of pressure. It's a lot like we work very hard, so you could do this, so you should be doing this, and this path is followed. So it is a humbleness built into that. And I love working with these women. And I love breaking their reality a little bit of
Oh,
like, why can't you be humble and still want more?
it's a
Why can't
guilty
you be
feeling.
grateful for everything that you have and open to everything you're going to receive?
Right.
Like they're not mutually exclusive. I can be humble and so grateful and thankful for the job that I have and say, thank you very much. I deserve $150,000.
She said it with a straight face. That's what I'm just loving. Like, and no, like, now can I get a glass of water? You know?
Like, let me sip my tea. Hold on here.
I love that. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm one of those people that she's probably referring to. I am first generation American, and I try to be a very humble person and very appreciative of the things that I'm given or the opportunities that I'm given. But then I have to constantly remind myself and have conversations with LaTrice, and she's reminding me like, you ain't begging them for nothing, right? Like you do know you're not begging them. Like you're only asking what you're asking for is because of what you put in. Now, if you're out there and you know that you're not really putting in the work, then if maybe you shouldn't be. But the funny thing is, I know a lot of people that I would deem as lazy and they getting paid. So
Okay.
you have to start asking yourself, like, okay, and I'm not telling you to be that type of person because I don't want to be a
No.
person of, I have an ethical and moral compass. And so I want to do what's right. But I told LaTrice earlier, I am still very uncomfortable, even like talking about what I can do. Like I get uncomfortable, or like if people are like, "Oh, you did such a good job," like I get really weirded out because it's like, because that's what I'm supposed to do. But but it's okay to even be uncomfortable because that just means that you're growing, and that uncomfortability needs to always be there so it could keep you on your toes. The minute that you stop being uncomfortable is because you allowed yourself to go back to that place where you just accepted everything. I am a clear example of a person that allowed people to just work. I had 18 years of HR experience and was making $65,000. Yes, I said it. And I knew it wasn't right. And it bothered me and it bothered me and it bothered me. And then I was like, well, maybe then you start, because you got the devil and the angel on one side, right? So the on the other side is telling you, well, that's all you learn work. And the other side is like, girl, no, it's not. You better than that. But then it's like, which one is it? Which one is it? And so the more, you have conversations with people and you're like, they don't even know what? So no, I'm not gonna feel bad anymore for saying, I think I could find something different. And don't be so uncomfortable with leaving. Because if you can't get it from company A, I promise you there's a company B or C that is waiting for you to just rear your head and wave your hands and say, "Hey, I'd like to come work for you all." And that's kind of the situation that I was in, LaTrice. And you know that, like, when it got down to the wire of me leaving one organization for another, I was like, I don't know. This is a huge increase. And LaTrice got dead silent on me. Like, so what the problem is? That's she was like, I'm just trying to figure out how you accepted 65,000 for 18 years of HR experience. I was about to cry, and I was glad that we were on the phone because I was in my feelings. But then it was like, she's right. And she was like, don't ever do that mess again. Ever, 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 ever. She was like, you get six figures or you walk. There's no conversation. That's it. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She had me a little shook. So, but you need somebody like that. Like I needed someone in my corner to say, "Girl, are you crazy? Slap, get out of that. Get out of your own way. Know your own worth. Understand." Now, I'm not saying everyone. Please don't get me misconstrued. I'm not saying you have 2 days of HR. Boom! I deserve $100,000. I deserve 75,000. That's not what I'm saying. But you best believe there are people walking right out of a college classroom, never worked a day in our field, and are asking for 80, 75, 90. And some of them are getting it. You know why? Because it's called they asked for it. They believe in themselves. If we
Yep,
can't learn anything, we better start learning from the Z's and the millennials.
I do.
I learn a lot from them. They never scared, as the
My
song said.
coach
They
is
ain't never
26
scared.
years old. I tell people that
And
my coach is 26, maybe 27 now.
that's my baby's age. My baby will be 27.
And she is coaching me on this, some of the same techniques, a lot of like breaking the rules, a lot of these cycles that are ingrained in us have not necessarily been ingrained in someone who's a little younger.
Oh, absolutely not.
So it's so much we can learn from them. We may
Absolutely.
have the wisdom. So I do think age comes with wisdom.
Wisdom.
We also carry with us a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of
Drama.
just drama, where
And
with me,
trauma.
a lot of optimism. They got a lot of optimism,
Oh, yes.
So
The sky's the
putting that
limit.
together, like I have people who come to me who are like, LaTrice, and this my coworker, she's 26 years old, and then she left and got a job making it. Yeah, you could leave.
It happened to me all the time. Shout out to my old millennial co-workers that did it. I'm so happy for them.
They
But
would be like, I can't take this. And
no,
after a year or two, they gone. And
yes,
then you sitting
yes,
there wondering why now they making more money than you. But you could leave too. I will say this, as much as I believe in getting like promoted and staying with the company, I'm a firm believer too. If a company cannot be great and value you and not pay you what you deem is your worth for the work. because they're never going to be able to pay your worth. You're worth so much more than even six figures. But what you deem you are worth for the work, if they're not paying you that, I don't care if it's a nonprofit, government, whatever, if they're not paying you, you will one become resentful. Two, how great are they really? I tell my clients this, I tell anybody who will listen, don't change you, change the company. Do you know how many women come to me and say, I think my salary range is too high? 9 times out of 10, actually, let me just be honest. I've never had a person where their salary range was too high. 10 times out of 10, it's too low.
No,
It's too low. But they're
clearly
thinking
times
my
like
salary range is too high. I need to change the different type of companies. I'm aiming too high. That's why it hasn't happened for me yet. What I'm saying is you're not aiming at the right companies. You're not aiming high enough. When people are like, and this company said I was too qualified. Well, girl, they gave you some free coaching. You are too qualified to move on. If you're negotiating and they're like, no, this is our max we can pay is 85. Thank you so very much for your time. Spend that energy, that mental capacity, that mental space with a company that is willing to pay you six figures, with a company that is willing to negotiate with you. And right now, a lot of them are.
it's so true. And I'm glad that you mentioned people coming to you and saying, well, I think what I'm asking for is too much. And you're giving them the side eye. Cause again, I know I was one of those people, I'm thinking like, well, they said, well, I'm at 65. So she was like, so what do you want me? And I said, well, like 75, 80. And again, it was that eerie, dead silence where I could barely hear her breathing on the other end. And I'm like, LaTrice, and you were like, absolutely not. And again, my feelings were hurt for 2.2 seconds. But then, because then I was like, what? And then I realized like she's telling me absolutely not like, you ain't asking for enough, crazy girl. And so I was like, not enough. And she was like, exactly, not nowhere near. Go up. And then we continue to talk and talk and talk. And I'm like, well, what about? And she's like, keep going. I'm like, now I'm having like panic attacks. And that's the crazy part. You get so, and that's crazy to me. How are you getting so stressed out and bent out of shape about making more money? And you have the skill set to do so. But it's because we have become trained, almost programmed to be accepting of crumbs.
Oh. Look, she just said a word. This is my whole tagline about breaking the rules, wanting more. Like it is okay. It's okay. Like, and sometimes we just need somebody on the other end to give us permission to be like, you want more. It's okay to get it. It's okay that you want the whole cake instead of a crumb. You want to be satisfied. You want to be sustained instead of having to keep coming back getting these crumbs. It's such a difference. But I do believe we can get into a bigger subject about society and patriarchy and all these
Yeah, I
things.
mean, because it
There
is
are
just
reasons why we think
there's
this
reasons
way.
why the way we think the way we
You are
think.
not broken. It's not, oh my goodness, I'm doing everything wrong. No, you have been conditioned,
Conditioned.
trained, bred to believe this, so it is okay. That's why I love being in an environment with younger people, because they don't have that as much.
And they don't, but that's the thing. They may have it, but they don't care.
Right.
As they say, they are about that life.
Right.
You tell them they can't have 10, they go, oh, bet you're right. I can't have 10. I want 45. You're like, wow.
I'm gonna say this. One daughter is in IT. She's traveling the world doing her thing. I'm gonna put their business out there, make a nice salary. My other daughter is 24 years old. She's a registered nurse. She is a travel nurse. Leave it at that.
Yeah, you leave it at that, because I know. My daughter's in the military, but she's in nursing school right now too. So I know, like,
leave it at that.
Nice salary.
I will just say the salaries that they are getting is more than I could have even imagined
at their age, right? Yeah, it's like, what are we thinking? And shout out to us, because I think the reason, for us Xers and Xennials and millennials that are having these kids that are now in their, early to mid 20s, we were like, anything you want, you could get. You want that, you could get it. Nobody can't tell you different. And they stepped out into the world and was like, "Oh, my mom said anything I want, I can get. And anything if I work hard, I can get it." And that's their attitude. And so I personally learned so much. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe they asked for that. But then I also am like, shout out to you for asking for it. Like you're teaching me something new. But I'm glad that you mentioned like there are so many things that have happened throughout history to
Right.
women in particular, to people of
Right.
color in particular, that have caused, if you're in a certain age group, to always feel like I shouldn't ask anything above this is just too much. And I
Yes.
would,
Yes.
and that's where we kind of are like, it's the start and stop and start and stop. And then we get that fire and then we stop again. And I will say another thing. If you're at an organization, there's opportunity for you to grow and they tap you on the shoulder, go for it because they see something in you. But when they have that conversation with you, if you decide that you want a certain amount of money or you feel like you're worth a certain amount, then say something. And sometimes maybe you have to come in the medium because you're new to the organization too, but they see something in you that they want to move you to another role. Still have those conversations. Like there's nothing wrong with having a conversation. And okay, maybe you take the role, maybe you don't, but at least you know that they see something in you. But don't be afraid to talk about money. And I think that's something within people of color, specifically women, we are weird about talking about money.
Ooh,
And I don't know why. Like it's almost like we feel like, well, if I ask them, they'll say no. So when you wanted to go outside and play, did you ask? You knew your mom was going to possibly say no,
and
but
here's
that
the
didn't
thing.
stop you.
What is no going to do?
It's a no today. It don't
First
have
of
to be
all,
no
no,
tomorrow.
y'all, I have my own business. I am told no more than I'm told yes. My
Absolutely.
yeses is life changing. My yeses, I have a six-figure business just on my yeses. I don't need to worry about my no's. But if I
Exactly.
never try, if I stop, I don't have a business. I don't eat. I'm not taking care of my family. So, but I will tell you all, I understand that the fear is real. And this is how you can combat some of that is getting out of your head a little bit and actually saying it. The first time you say a number, I want 150, I want 200,000, whatever the case is, I want 100,000, should not be in that meeting. It should flow out of your mouth so comfortably, it is just a matter of fact. So practicing out loud. I used to practice in my car. I used to like when I knew, and I'm somebody, I always went in. I will tell you, being told no in my previous role, previous company, really helped me. They made me write letters, made me like ask different people. I was like, they actually helped me become a master negotiator. But one thing I didn't do was allow a no to stick. A no never stopped me. One person tell me no, okay, well, that means I just gotta go talk to somebody else.
Absolutely.
A
Yeah.
no never stopped me. And some of you all let the thought of a no stop you. Just all of it is in your imagination. It never actually happened, right? You're like, well,
Right.
what if I've had people give me whole scenarios. LaTrice, well, what if I apply to this job and then I want it and then I get it and I negotiate six figures and then they say no. And then what am I going to do? Either take the job or don't, or because who else? Or
The
I've
what
had people
ifs.
say, or what if
Yeah.
I get the job, they pay me the six figures, and then I get it and I can't do it? That's a confidence issue. That's nothing to do with the job. So we got to go back and work on that. But some of you will be so much in your own head and with these scenarios that you don't even give them a chance to tell you yes or no. It's okay. And you will survive a no. What you will really find though is most of the time companies don't say no. I used to, if this was 2018, I used to be like, oh, they could say yes, no, maybe, or like, let's try again. Now, right now, more than likely they're gonna be like, let's wheel and deal.
Yeah, yeah, yes, 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 they are.
Let's
Let
wheel
me
and
look into that.
deal.
Yes, because they don't want to lose, especially if you're already with the organization, they don't want to lose a valuable candidate. And think about it like this too. They run a attrition report just like everybody else, right? It doesn't look good when you have valuable employees constantly leaving. They want to keep those high commodity individuals. So they're going to do whatever it takes. But the thing is, like you said, LaTrice, we got to get out of our own head. And you're right. We already saying, what if? Why are we even talking about what if? Why? Just go, first you need to have the conversation with yourself. What do I want to make? What do I feel I need to make? Everybody has a number out there that that's just your play number, like play money. Like, but then you have a number there that you're like, I feel like I put in the work, I've been dedicated, I've done XYZ. I need that. But then when you get in front of the organizations, all of a sudden you like 50, 60, $40,000 less than what we was just talking about. Like all of a sudden you get there and you freeze up and you're like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And it's absolutely not. They don't know you. You don't know them. So all they can go off is what you tell them and what your experience that you provide them with by that having that conversation. Or if you work for the organization, then they should know who you are and they should know your worth. And if they decide that they don't want to pay you,